Welcome back to Throwback Thursday. This week's episode is actually starting on into my clone bases. This mock was created roughly about Friday, August 30th, 2013. So this was actually my old room that I lived in. I actually moved into this brand new room in a different section of my house about freshman year to high school, and I stayed here ever since. So this mock is actually about 3 base plates in length and 2.5 in width. I would say it's it was probably the largest mock I've ever built, but it doesn't mean that I was that good, and even now I'm not really that proud of it, but it just shows what I could do with a few bricks I had at the time. As you can tell, this is the progress photo when I initially started. It was pretty ambitious because I built up like 5 or 6 bricks across the whole mock. As you can tell, I used a lot of different bricks that didn't really look, they're kind of wasteful and very frivolous with them. So this is actually, I began building by using like brown pieces for a trench, which I wanted to go for more like a World War I vibe, which turned out really nice for the time, and the white kind of contrasts with the brown, you know, the white of the clone trooper. So I like that. I always love trenches when they're in Star Wars. And as you can tell, I actually included there's actually a mine next to the AAT, like from World War II. Like those, I forgot what they were called, but like Battle of Normandy. When the United States soldiers were storming the free beachfront, they had those like things preventing them from coming onto the beach with their ships. So I included one of those to see what it looked like. But as you can tell, I started to build on with these yellow bricks. It's supposed to simulate sand, but it looks more like Minecraft than anything. You'll see a lot of that Minecraft texture and build style later on in these photos. And here I actually started to do some rock work. I think it's pretty primitive now, considering that it's literally just a few bricks, even though back then I thought this was so amazing at the time. And I also include that like black border using those black plates, which I always love to use that. It's always nice seeing that people actually do that nowadays, but way better than I did before. And you can also tell that I included some blue brick, and this photo is showing off like the landing platform I created that's all black. If you kind of see off the top right, it's kind of funny because back then, 7 years ago, I had a Wii, PlayStation 1 that I used for my entertainment, and a DVD player. So put that in perspective, what we use nowadays. In this photo, it shows off that platform actually being utilized. In this photo, it's actually showing the water technique. It's funny since there are just like slopes, blue slopes, and if you look off to the side, I actually did a lot of that Minecraft technique. So technically, if people want to say this is a Minecraft mock, they could say it's a Minecraft mock because it does look like a Minecraft mock. I think it's really funny because I've never seen anyone build like a large-scale Minecraft mock. And here's the Millennium Falcon I put on the sides to show like the size of this mock. In more detail, building onto the trench rock work, and this is just a pulled out view to show off what the whole mock looked like so far. It's a pretty messy table. It's funny because I use that command center set that no one liked at all, but I bought like 10 of them at the time because they're on sale, and that's how I got a lot of my clone troopers. You know, the one with Jordicas and stuff that everyone hates. And here's a better perspective to show off what it's like to be one of the clone troopers in the mock, which I thought looks pretty cool. And here's like a more edited photo to show off. And that's when I started to put on some droids onto the battlefield to show like what it would be like, which it's kind of funny because it does not go with it at all. And I also start to include some like different terrain. Off to the left, I include some lime bricks to show off that it's like going to a different biome. But it looks so much like Minecraft, it's hilarious. What I also think is pretty funny, I actually include these pillars, columns like old Greek style. I have no idea why, I just thought it would be really cool to throw those in. Even though it's Star Wars and it's not on planet Earth at all. Some realistic things to throw into a mock. It's kind of a blurry photo, but it's just showing off the different vehicles I had put onto the mock at the time. It wasn't a bad mock, it was just very primitive. And this is the Republic frigate to show off the size of it was. This is probably my favorite photo that I took of this mock because I put the Republic frigate in the back, and it's a little bit forced perspective because I had not actually built onto the back and placed a piece of paper to simulate the blue of the sky and got low to the ground, took a photo and put some filters on it. So this is probably my favorite photo that I took of the mock at the time. And here's a photo of the built-on section of that platform I actually built. And this is when I started to get into more technical side of it, because I included some LED lights behind that one panel to show off there's actually like some lights that I included. And this one's a cool photo showing off like the interior looking on the exterior of the mock. Say if you're a minifigure I actually did put some pieces of paper in the back to show off what it looked like for this guy, which looks pretty cool. And this part I actually started to take apart the mock to do something else with it. And this actually shows off more of the bridge. Since I always love catwalks and bridges, I always try to include this in mocks. So this photo I'm actually taking apart the mock, which as you can tell there's no like specialized pieces, they're literally just bricks, which I think is pretty funny. And in this photo it's showing off everything cleared off, and I actually used a shoebox at the time to put all the loose bricks. And it was so cool because it was so easy to build and it was really modular. So I just ripped everything apart and started to build some new stuff. And here you can definitely tell I took Minecraft inspiration. I must say it looks really nice though. And this is actually a look at my old Lego Star Wars collection. I think it's crazy how far I've come over the years, since I have maybe at least 3 times or 4 times the amount of this I currently have now. And it's funny seeing all my Legos just stacked up. My dad actually made that bed frame, and it's really cool because he actually utilized some drawers, so they're actually like little tables instead of like ordinary drawers. So that's why I put a lot of things nowadays when I build. But eventually I'll show off my whole Lego Star Wars collection, and it's pretty big. And this is actually a rare video that I made at the time, because I didn't really take that many videos of anything at the time. But this is actually showing off the interior of that base I made, but I rotated it. So, and this I'm showing off that different technique I utilize at 2x2 jumpers, and I like put in a little swirl, and I started to like move it around. And this is supposed to be like the armory that I set up, and I incorporated some LED lights. Great camera work, old Tony. Yep, focus. Oh, it was a pretty bad phone at the time, because it was an old smartphone. Well, it was new at the time, but now it's pretty bad. At least the video isn't that bad, because it could be way worse. But I utilized a lot of black at the time, because that's what I had the most of. And as you can tell, I still use that handrail piece. Not piece, the technique I used in the previous mock. So I've been using it for quite a while, but it does still hold up to this very day. Amazing details. Look at all the black plate they use in 1313 now. Here's like where I have all the bark speeders and stuff ready to be deployed, since it's supposed to be a clone base and all. And here's interior showing off all the vehicles. I thought that was a pretty cool technique I used for the stairs. You saw for a second. And here's just the hangar bay that I made. As you can tell, I had 2 of those ATRTs. Now I have 6, but I took them apart. And here's the staircase I was talking about. As you can tell, I was pretty proud of it because I zoomed in twice. But this is a really cool technique that I used. Just some cheese slopes and 2x2 tiles. I remember being very proud of this at the time, and it's not too bad now, but there's that the other area that I built. And here's the exterior. I actually included some glass pieces, or some 1x2 transclear to make it look like glass. And it wasn't never complete at the time, because I actually started taking it apart after this, because I really finished mocks really ever at the time. This is a pulled out view of the whole thing, even though it's really not that focused. So it's actually the end of this episode. I hope you guys enjoyed watching that old mock. I have a lot older mocks, like from 2012, that'll be eventually showing off, but since it was 7 years ago. So have a great day, and see you next time.